Here on the Colour of Country Life, Flow FM, we're with Stephen Reid from Michell Wool, our regular correspondent on what's happening on the wool market. Stephen, thanks for joining us again.
Absolute pleasure.
Now, Stephen, let's talk about the market first. There's a lot more going on elsewhere, but how did things go on the sales this week?
Look, interesting, the opening day was pretty ordinary, actually. All the indicators fell down. Everybody was sitting on the fence, and it was pretty average sort of selling. Most indicators were down 30 to 40 cents. But the second day, people stepped back in again. The currency fell. Aussie against the US improved. So it does come back to that theme we've talked about before. There was lots of volatility and uncertainty in where we're going.
What are the drivers, you think, of that volatility at the moment?
Well, I think the big driver is China. If we look at what's happening in Europe, look at what's happening in Korea, logistics are really difficult. So people are moving on from just-in-time buying, and they're placing forward contracts, which is excellent. But China seems to be running at the moment, which is the dominant buyer and early-stage processor for our wool. They seem to be running on rumours, and every day another rumour comes out. And even our staff in the factory out there, they seem to wake up like a goldfish each morning and saying there's a military contract. The next day there's a fantastic sale for 11.11, which is an online sale.
Yep.
They get excited about. So it's all rumours coming out of China, and that's leading to this volatility.
Now, just you mentioned this wobbliness in the market. Just looking at the Wool Exchange's Eastern Market Indicator, Micron 25 was up 46 cents on the latest one, but is that just a factor of maybe it fell over the line at the right time when they cut off the figures?
No, there's no doubt the Australian wool clips become incredibly finer. The average micron now is probably 18.5 or 19 micron. So the traditional, and I guess for South Australia, the traditional 23, 24 micron merino wool doesn't exist. And even some of the comebacks and crossbreds are getting down there now. So some of the demand for wool polyester fabric and wool acrylic knitwear used to use 21, 22, 23 micron merinos. And people are looking for cheaper fabrics, cheaper garments, and there's a bit of pressure on that end. So that demand for super and ultrafine wool is being tested, and people are looking back to these older types which don't exist anymore. Yeah,
that's probably just a factor of the limited supply because no one really bothers in that area anymore.
Well, absolutely right. And some of it's probably a little bit technical for a radio report, but some of the comeback wools compared to merino have got a lot of methylated fibre in them. So if you're dyeing dark colours and so forth, that's a big issue. So it's not quite the same as a traditional, and I guess I'd call it a South Australian bred broad micron merino. Was a pretty handy sheep and pretty handy wool. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned wool polyester. I thought you were going to mention the WoolPoll for a moment there. Well, let's go to it. What's the result of the WoolPoll? Farmers have rushed in and said, let's keep things how they are.
Exactly right. The AWI board wanted an increase from 1.5 to 2, which is what it's been for a long time. And farmers or wool growers, shareholders, have come in and said, no, leave it at 1.5. And in terms of the tenure, the idea was to say it's a 5-year program for fixing that, I guess, that levy rate or tax rate, and the farmers have said, no, leave it at 3. So it's pretty clear, and it's a tremendous thing given.
Leave it at 3 or 1.5?
Leave it at 3.
Yep.
Sorry, not 3%, 3 years.
3 years. 3 years, yeah. So the overall votes I'm looking at here on the screen show the 47% primary vote went to 1.5 and 27% said go to 2%, but after preferences, 69% was stuck with the 1.5 levy rate.
No, exactly right. So, I guess what I read into that is there's a sense of wool producers saying we're happy to pay more, but we want more confidence. We want to see more results. So it's not all doom and gloom for AWI. There is a strong element of people saying we're prepared to pay money and increase what we spend as a tax, but we want to see some results. And then that leads into the end of this weekend, where shareholders and wool producers have to also now go in and vote on the AGM in terms of the directors they want to put forward and the direction of the company. So it's all happening in the wool industry.
And you're throwing your hat in the ring for that one. Would you be one of the first processors to get on there if you are successful?
One of the first in a couple of decades, absolutely. So I'm as what was referred to by the independent nomination committee as an oddbod. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Someone who's comfortable in their own skin, I prefer to call it, being a bit of an oddbod myself. Good on you, Stephen. Thanks for your updates. Much appreciated.
I appreciate it, mate. Have a great weekend.
Thanks.